Jumper delivery. What you're going to do when you want to do jumper delivery, you want to look at the location, make sure there's no overhanging wires, no trees. The jumpers are average. The average jumper is 13 by 13. Some are bigger. Those are combo units. But a standard jumper, this is a modular jumper. You just unroll the jumper. It unrolls from the back towards the front. You undo the straps, pulling the straps out. On the modular units, you want to unroll the unit. You have to actually get to the opening where the panel velcros onto the front. Other units, other jumper units that are not modular, you can just hook up the blower unit to the tube and it will inflate on its own. You don't need to open up the full unit. But with the modulars, I'm showing you have to open it up. As you can see by my feet, there's a black Velcro area. That's where the panel will actually Velcro on. You're going to hook up one tube to the blower unit. The other tube you will actually secure off so that it doesn't leak air. There's self-tightening straps on all the tubes. Make sure the tube is straight up and down so that it's not kinked or crooked when you're putting it onto the blower. On the second one, you want to just fold it in half and then seal it off so that no air can escape from the tube. Just let it lay down. Now on the modular units, you're going to take a panel and you're going to start at the top of the panel where the peak is. It's kind of like a little house. So you're going to open it up and you're going to start in the center of the peak. I'm going to show you what it looks like here in a second so that you can see what it actually, where the peak of it would be. Okay, there's the peak. You start right in the center and you just make sure you lay it out flat and move the Velcro along and just Velcro the top of the unit. You don't need to worry about the sides, you don't need to worry about the bottom, just do the top part of the unit. You'll be able to make sure that's all adjusted and everything once you inflate the unit. It takes about 1.5 minutes to inflate the full unit. Now that I have the panel on, turn on the blower unit. The blower unit's going to blow out very fast and the unit's going to start to inflate immediately. Some drivers like to fold the steps in before they roll them up at the end. Some like them out. I prefer them out. It's easier because you can start with a tighter roll with just the step. Some drivers like to start with the step in. You can decide as you get experienced and do the deliveries. On the modulars, as they start to inflate, it's best just to grab one side, kind of push it down, get it straight, and then you see, and now you're going to go over to the other side. Make sure it's Velcroed on. That's good, and it stays in place. Then you have your jumper and your modular all finished. In the evening, when you come back, you're going to make sure you have your hand truck into your truck, so you want to make sure you take that with you. At night, when you come back, you bring your hand truck out. Take the panel off the unit while it's still inflated. Makes it a lot easier. Then you're going to want to fold the unit. Fold it so that the bottom is at the top and the top is at the bottom. Then you have a straight across fold. You can see it. It's so that the peak is at the end. You just fold it in half again. Fold it in half one more time. Pulling down your edges, make sure it's flush and straight. Once you get that done, fold it in half and then fold it in half one more time. Don't forget your panels. That's one of the biggest issues. Drivers will leave panels at people's homes. You're going to go around the back. You're going to turn off the unit. You always want the unit to fall forward. So when you turn off the unit, you can pull off your tube right then, and the unit will start to fall forward. If it doesn't start to fall forward, run around to the front and pull the unit forward. You don't want it falling backwards. You want it to always fall forwards. Go in the back now and unhook your other tube so that the air can start to come out. And then you can stand there for a minute or two, letting the air blow itself out. This takes no longer than 3 or 4 minutes for the jumper to be fully deflated. What I do is I let it go down about most of the way, and then what I do is I start to take my cords. You have a bunch of things you have to do. You have to make sure your jumper's staked down. So after you've finished inflating it, you want to make sure the jumper's been staked down. So at this time, you could start taking your stakes out. You can roll up your cord around your blower unit. Just take the cord, wrap it around the blower unit, make sure it's secured. Then take your other extension cord if you needed one, then wrap it up. Don't forget your extension cords, don't forget your stakes, don't forget your blower units, There's the stakes. You want to make sure you put the stake through the hole and put it in on an angle. And you always want to use a minimum of 2 stakes. You want to use 2 cross corners. So either you use the stake on one corner and then the other corner, or you can use 4 stakes if it's a windy day or anything like that. So what you want to do is you want to start to walk it flat. Get all the air out of it. Make sure all your air is out of it. If there's kids still at the party, this is a good time to say, hey kids, okay, I'm going to roll up the cord. You guys go out and walk on the unit. And what they'll do is they'll make it flat. So then what you're going to do is you're going to pull the front of it back over the top of the back. So you're going to pull it, and then you're going to make sure it's all nice and flat and all neat. If you've got like a sea bounce or a Spider-Man or something like that where it's got a head to it, you want to just pull that in, fold it back over, kind of walk it flat, get it as flat as possible. You want the unit is with all the air out of it. The goal is to make sure all your air is out. And you can see I have a nice flat unit now. All the air is out. You always want to keep your tubes in the back always straight and out. Then you just grab to the side, flip to the center, leave yourself a couple foot gap in between the 2 folds. Fold to the center, pull your edges out. You're always going to want to walk from the front towards the back. See, I'm straightening a tube. Make sure the tube is nice and straight. Then go around to the front. Make sure it's nice and straight. And then walk from the front to the back. Kind of walk like a penguin, or any way you can get as much air going out. At this time is a good time for the kids, if they're at the party too, or if you have a helper, walk together. Make sure you walk your step out, get the step empty. Some drivers will fold the step in here at this time. Some will keep it out. I like to keep it out because I can start with a nice tighter roll and get it so it's already started rolling nice. So then you're going to fold one side over top of the other. It's very easy. Now go in the back. Make sure your tube is nice and straight again. Start in the front. Walk it flat again. You want to get as much air out of the unit as possible. Pull it nice and straight. You see the air going out. It takes a little bit of time. It goes out slowly, but it's very easy to do. Just walk the unit, walk the unit. A couple times. Normally you should have all the air out. Sometimes when you go back at night, it's cold and the material is much more pliable when it's warm out. So at night, when it's a little harder, it's a little bit more difficult to get the air out. So once you get the air out, you start yourself a roll. Try to get as tight of a roll as possible. This is just by myself. If you have a helper with you, what's a good time? If you have your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whoever, what you want to do is have them walk right in front of you where you're rolling, because what that does is it makes it a lot easier. See how I'm pushing down with the unit? If you have someone walking there, it's much easier. If you get to a hump where there's a little bit more difficult, you have to lift the unit. Just push it down, keep pushing, and then just roll it over on top of itself. Use your knees, use your back, but more try to lift. Anytime you do any lifting, you want to lift with your legs. You always want to try to use your leg muscles as much as possible. Those are your strongest muscles. And you can see if you're on a slippery surface like I am inside the warehouse, it does want to slide on you. So once you get it all rolled out, you want to roll it all the way to the tubes, and then you're going to roll it back a little bit. Then tuck in all your tubes. You want to see only the bottom material. The blue material on this, in this case, you only want to see the green. You don't want to see any of the blue. You want to see the green. So when the unit's all rolled up, all you want to see is the green bottom part. That's a thicker vinyl, and if you hit it with a dolly or something like that, it's going to have less of a chance of cutting the unit. Take your yellow straps or your blue straps or whatever color straps they are, run them back up through the bottom. These are self-sealing straps. Some of the straps are actually where you have to tie them off, but most of them are self-sealing like this. Just pull it nice and tight. You don't have to wrench on it or anything like that. You just want to make it nice and tight. Then you want to seal it off one more time, but make sure you do slip knots. Do not tie knots in these straps, because you're the driver that may have it the next time and you have to untie the knots. It's so much easier and so much better for the next driver if you don't tie knots. You tie slip knots, or just don't even do anything. Just let it seal itself and then tuck your strap in. Once you're done with that, make sure you seal it off, and then go back out and load it back into your vehicle. That's it.